No, don't stop till you get enough.
You haven't had enough.
No way. No way.
What's good, YouTube? This your boy Nick, man, and I'm back with another video, bruh. And before we get started, if this is your first time on my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell so you'll be notified when I do make new videos, you know what I'm saying? I haven't done one of these in a minute, y'all. I haven't done one of these in a minute, but y'all know how life is, man. Life is like a journey, and you don't know where it's going to take you, man. Like, seriously, you don't, man. So today, man, this is the tragic life of Michael Jackson's secret sister. Secret sister. So, Joe got some kids out here that nobody know about, huh? But anyway, bro, let's get straight into the video. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Giovanni, or the bastard child, as Michael Jackson's mother would call her. Maybe the least recognizable sibling in the Jackson family dynasty, and the one they clearly wished stayed in the shadows. A shame-ridden love child between Joseph Jackson and his longtime mistress. Giovanni was hidden away from the public eye,
yes,
and for years shunned by the rest of the Jackson family. But the heartbreak didn't stop there. This is the tragic story of the sister Michael Jackson did all he could to forget, and you might be shocked to hear the reaction when she got to finally confront her superstar siblings. Here's the detail. Giovanni Jackson was a product of one of Joseph's many extramarital activities. It's no secret that the Jackson patriarch did little to remain faithful to his wife and mother of 9 of his other children, Catherine, and indulged in numerous affairs and one-night flings throughout their long-standing marriage. Fame, fortune, and the nature of show business only helped Joseph in his attempt to pursue other women. One being Cheryl Terrell, a young, pretty secretary Joseph first met in the early 1970s, and soon became the object of his desire. The two began a passionate affair, and once Catherine caught wind of it, she was so devastated by Joseph's betrayal, she saw no other option but to file for divorce in March 1973. But due to her devotion to the Jehovah's Witness faith, it didn't take long before Catherine was convinced to forgive her husband and take him back. Joseph thanked his long-suffering wife by getting his mistress pregnant, and they welcomed a baby girl named Giovanni on August 30th, 1974, the day after his son Michael's 16th birthday. From this point onwards, Joseph led a double life. Publicly, he was seen with his wife and famous family, embodying the head of the household, managing his children's glistening careers in show business. When in private, his heart was with Cheryl and the daughter they shared together. Joseph set his new family up with somewhere to live just a stone's throw away from the famous Jackson Havenhurst estate in Encino, Los Angeles, and visited regularly. Because of the nature of the music industry, Joseph could spend long stretches at his other residence and give the excuse that he was away on business without causing suspicion. However, he still wanted to keep his mistress and illegitimate daughter hidden away from the rest of his family and the prying press, and requested that they keep a low profile and not visit establishments his other family members might frequent. Giovanni recalls that her father was always open about her uber-successful half-siblings, but didn't learn until she was 11 years old that Joseph was still married to his first wife, Catherine. When she saw her at a nail salon 3 years later, Giovanni was stunned. Quote, "It was such a confusing time," she said. "I was very aware that I was in the Jackson family growing up. I saw them on TV, I listened to their music, but I was hidden away, kept secret for years, not able to be part of the family. It was very hurtful." Despite Joseph's attempts to remain discreet, the rest of the Jackson family eventually found out about his double life, possibly being the cause of another filing for divorce in 1982 by Catherine, only to be once again rescinded not long after.
You acting like
Naturally,
a true Capricorn.
Catherine was furious and deeply pained by the extent of her husband's infidelity and the child it resulted in. Instead of calling her by her name, Catherine referred to her husband's illegitimate daughter as the, quote, bastard child, and the famous family showed little interest in connecting with their half-sibling.
I don't believe that.
Quote, I would be shopping in a department store and I would see Latoya, but I couldn't go and talk with her because I didn't feel she wanted to talk to me. I didn't ask it to be like this. I didn't ask for all this trouble. I didn't ask to be treated this way.
No, you didn't.
Even though the famous side of her family outwardly didn't want anything to...
No, you didn't. You just wanted to be embraced by your siblings. That's all she wanted. She just wanted to be embraced by the family, but shoot, it's like they didn't want anything to do with her, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, hey.
to do with her, Giovanni refused to feel ashamed for her mere existence and spoke openly about her super popular half-siblings. The reactions she received on the school playground were mixed. Many didn't believe her, and the ones who did bullied her for being Michael's little sister.
Aww.
Quote, I got beat up every single day because I was Giovanni Jackson. Despite this, Giovanni was proud of her very famous siblings, and recalls going to dozens of Janet's and Michael's concerts growing up. Quote, through Daddy, I would get tickets to all the concerts, she recalled. I was amazed at Michael's talent. I remember thinking as a little girl, he looked at me, he saw me. Giovanni would even be taken backstage with her father, and had hopes of meeting her performing siblings that she had previously only known from afar. Quote, I would sometimes go see them backstage, but I could never get to talk to them. I couldn't get that close. It was frustrating. Giovanni's outspokenness about her famous connections didn't go unnoticed by the rest of the family. Her half-sister, Latoya Jackson, wrote about her and exposed her father's double life in her 1991 tell-all book. She spoke openly about it in interviews, and Joseph was even grilled about the subject on the Phil Donahue show.
Joe, she has you handing the phone to her. She wants to speak to you, a young woman on the other line, a girl. Will you just say hi to her, you asked Latoya. Thinking he was talking about some fan, I asked, what's her name? You replied, Joe, according to Latoya's book, Anna. That Anna. He didn't say. He just dialed the number and handed me the receiver. A brief conversation, a girlish squeal. Oh, I love you so much, she said to Latoya. I want to be just like you. Oh, that's nice. I'm so happy you called me. Anna, she says, is your daughter by another woman, and that you led a double life, and that you housed your other family in the same neighborhood. Is this true, Joe?
No. I don't have a daughter named Anna.
You don't have another family?
No daughter named Anna, Phil.
Even though the family preferred to keep Giovanni out of the press, privately, everything was out in the open, and Joseph would eventually start bringing his other daughter to larger family events and even to the Havenhurst estate. Catherine soon softened to the idea of having Giovanni around, choosing not to punish an innocent child due to the actions of her parents. Having heard the cruel nickname her father's husband referred her to as, Giovanni was hesitant to meet Catherine. Quote, I hung on to that, and then I met Catherine, and I couldn't even see her saying anything like that about me.
Right.
She was really nice to me. I think she was really hurt at the time of the affair. That's totally understandable.
Anything like that about kids.
She said that Catherine was able to move beyond it, and they bonded, even eventually letting Giovanni live in her Encino home rent-free. Quote, I took care of her home when she wasn't there. We cooked together and we had some really good conversations. Along with Catherine, some of her half-siblings also attempted to rid their hard feelings and accept Giovanni as part of the family, particularly her oldest sister, Rebe. Quote, you can walk into our home and feel the love. She's so sweet. She and I are very, very close. My other sisters, not so much. Giovanni was particularly disappointed meeting her youngest sibling, Janet. Already a big fan of her music, she was excited to connect with her pop star sister when introduced to her in 1990. Quote, I met Janet when I was 15. I saw her that one time, and it was clear she never wanted to have a relationship with me. I could never really understand why. We met up at Rebe's house. She was staring at me and checking me out, and as soon as she heard me call Joseph Daddy, she got upset.
Oh.
Giovanni remembers. She switched off, turned her back, and never spoke to me again. It's well known that the Jackson patriarch refused to have his children call him anything other than Joseph.
Yup.
Michael later recalling the pain it caused him growing up, indicative of the division and cruelty he felt present in their relationship. Giovanni believes that simply calling him Daddy indicated to Janet favoritism towards her, and that Giovanni may have been treated by their father in a more loving manner Janet had long craved for. Instead of showing her affection, Joseph took time away from his own family to spend time with his other daughter, visiting daily and showering her with gifts. Maybe because of guilt he felt due to Giovanni's circumstances, she experienced less of Joseph's strict authoritative side, and he was a more present fatherly figure for her. Although Giovanni doesn't believe this was because he loved her anymore, as by the time Joseph welcomed her into the world at 46, she believed he didn't have the energy he previously had to correct her and discipline her as harshly as he did his other kids. This rift between Giovanni and her half-siblings extended to Micheal as well, who found her bond with their father unsettling. This was made worse when Michael's parents ended up living separate lives, and Giovanni, then in her early 20s, moved in with Joe in Las Vegas and worked as a baggage handler at the airport. However, Giovanni did try for years to speak with her superstar brother, and finally succeeded during a phone call in 1999. Michael's mother, Catherine, was at the Las Vegas home with Joe when Michael called to speak to her. As the conversation came to an end, Giovanni jumped up and asked to talk to her brother. Quote, "I had a row with Joseph and I was asking why Daddy was so mean. He told me not to let Joseph upset me, and I said, okay, but Michael, don't forget about me, call me," she recalled. "I thought he was being nice, but I never heard from him after that." Giovanni saying that there was always something stopping her siblings from being close to her, explaining that when she was with them, they showed her love, but when she was gone, they never called or asked about her. The first time she finally got to meet Michael was at a family reunion at his Neverland ranch in 2003, when Giovanni was 29 years old. But as she stood before her superstar brother, her excitement was snatched away by the singer's cold, emotionless demeanor. Quote, "It was a big moment for me," Giovanni recalls. Quote, "But Michael was looking at me and seemed cold and standoffish. He just said hi and then saw my daughter Yasmin, and he was just fascinated with her, in awe. After a lifetime of seeing her superstar brother only from afar, she had long fantasized what this moment would actually be like. If only he knew me, he would care. He would accept me as his own, surely." Unfortunately, the reality was a bitter disappointment. Quote, "He never acknowledged that I was his sister. There was no hug or a kiss or even a handshake, no physical contact at all. I wanted to embrace him. I thought that he would want to go somewhere quiet and sit and talk with me and ask me about my life and get to know me a little better. It was very hurtful. He wasn't interested at all." Giovanni's heartbreak was compounded by Michael's seemingly limitless interest in his then 8-year-old niece. Quote, "With my daughter, he was totally different. She got hugs and kisses, everything I didn't. I'm woman enough to admit I was jealous." Giovanni stayed with her cousin at a hotel in Santa Barbara that night, rather than on Michael's sprawling 2,700-acre ranch. She returned to Neverland the next day with a renewed hope of achieving a breakthrough with her older brother. Quote, "I didn't see Michael all day. He was in the main house," she said. Yasmin and Paris, Michael's daughter, were off playing for hours. Paris is such a sweet girl. Michael made no attempt of seeing or speaking with Giovanni or Yasmin again, and they left without as much as a goodbye. Much like Janet, Giovanni believes that Michael resented her because of the belief that his father favored her over the rest of his children, that their father showered her with the warm embrace they all longed for, while Michael and his other siblings were beaten and forced to sacrifice their childhoods to seek fame and fortune in show business. Although the self-professed bastard child resents the notion that her life was any rosier. Quote, "I had the hardest childhood. It was just as blue as Michael's, and just as blue as my other brothers and sisters. And then to grow up and they don't want anything to do with me?" When it comes to her superstar brother's upbringing, Giovanni would go on to say that she doesn't fully buy Michael's narrative of an abusive father and stolen childhood anyway, but believing that this is a narrative he came up later on to gain public sympathy. Quote, Michael liked to tell the story of how he was beaten by my father. I would like to set the record straight. He had a big ego and instigated plenty showdowns ever since he was a little kid. He inherited my father's defiance and started fights with Joseph, and even sometimes took to threatening him with his leverage as the biggest star. If you think Michael was some little sissy scared of physical altercation, you've been bamboozled by his publicity image. For the single mum, the snub came as a huge blow, although over the years, she tried not to hold on to resentments. Quote, it is what it is. I love my brothers and sisters no matter what they do. What is said about them, how they act, whatever, it's unconditional for me. The door is always open and my phone is always there. However, for Michael at least, that call never came as the global icon suddenly passed in 2009. Giovanni was devastated by the news and the loss of a connection that she was never able to fulfill. Quote, I mourn a relationship that never began. That's what I'm sad about, Giovanni explained. Quote, because there's a great possibility that I could have made a difference. I'm outspoken. No, you're not doing that today, Michael. I could have made a difference and stopped some of the things that he was doing to himself. Desperate to pay her final respects to her half-brother during his private funeral, Michael's mother had to draw the line. A neighbour telling the Sunday Express, quote, Giovanni would love to take her kid to the funeral to quietly stand at the back and say goodbye, but she was told that neither of them would be welcome and would be turned away if they tried to gatecrash. How heartless is that? However, for the Jackson family, they were skeptical of their half-sister's motivations. Her desire to attend a private funeral of a man she only met once, and actions proved he never wanted anything to do with her. Was Giovanni just like her mother Cheryl, who hung on to her relationship with their father for over 25 years, despite his lack of intention to commit to her, for the sake of money and clout that came with it? Was Giovanni's motivation as genuine as she conveyed, or did the single mother, who struggled to make ends meet, persist despite constant rejection, in hopes that she will eventually be accepted and benefit from the trappings of fame and fortune? Quote, Giovanni's not looking for money. She just wants to fly with her daughter to Los Angeles at her own expense and say goodbye to Michael, her neighbor said back in 2009. Despite her request to attend Michael's funeral being refused, Giovanni didn't hold it against the family and maintained a good relationship with at least some of its members. When her mother died in 2014, it was Catherine who she first called, and also Rebe, who Giovanni said is the only one of her siblings who really cares about her. Quote, Rebe has been very consistent with guidance and love, she professed. Although she cherishes the bond she shares with Catherine and Rebe, everyone else in the family could go to hell as far as she's concerned. Ooh. Quote, I later said to my brother Jermaine, my mother died. He started stuttering and said, I was going to call. It was a wake-up call. It let me know my position in the family. As far as I'm concerned, they can all kiss my... After Joseph Jackson's death in 2018, Giovanni decided to take control of her story and reclaim the label she was branded with all those years ago by releasing the book Bastard Child. In it, she writes of her journey as an outsider of the Jackson family. Quote, so many people have these assumptions about what was going on with me. I'm so misunderstood. Everybody's saying that I just want to be famous and all these other things which are totally not true. The rest of the family gets to tell their side on everything. Why shouldn't I have the right to tell what my life has been like and be honest and authentic about it? Now aged 49, Giovanni is content and at peace, living in Las Vegas with her 29-year-old daughter Yasmin. She remains active on social media and isn't shy about celebrating her famous family and showing love to the father she misses to this day. Hi guys, it's Matt here, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you wanted to watch more, I actually have a really fascinating documentary about the long-standing civil rivalry between Michael Jackson and his brother Jermaine.
Okay, this is not too difficult to explain. It seemed like the other siblings felt some type of way about Giovanni because, like, Giovanni Giovanni was getting that treatment from Joseph that the other kids have always wanted. That's why, like, they felt some type of way about her in that relationship because, like I said, they wanted that treatment that Giovanni got from Joseph, and that's what they always wanted, man. And then, like, I didn't even know Joseph had kids outside of like Michael, Jackie, Jermaine, Reedy, Randy, Latoya, them. I didn't know that, man. I'm like, damn, man, Joseph out here shooting clubs up, man. But all Giovanni wanted was to be embraced by her half siblings. That's all she ever asked. That's all she ever asked for. She wasn't asking for a lot, you know what I'm saying? But it's like she didn't come off as like a bad person or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then the fact that they kept saying that Catherine preferred her as a bastard child, I don't believe that. I don't believe Mrs. Jackson will even say anything like that about kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. But I'm gonna be honest, she's attractive. I mean, like, she looks like a father, but like she look good. You know what I'm saying? I like her. She look good. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, like, that's the end of this video, man. And then, like, y'all, I'm back, bro. You know, I'm back. I'm finna be consistent. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna keep doing this, bro. And we gonna keep grinding. And we gonna keep going, bro. And as long as y'all with me, man, I'm going to keep putting out these videos, man, for real, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video because, like, I don't want to do too much talking. Just make sure you guys like this video before you leave. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man, and don't forget to turn those post notifications on. You know what I'm saying? But I've been your boy, Nick, man, and I'll see y'all in the next video, bruh. Peace.